That is the main thing that is being asked by people from across the quarters. इतना दिन तो सब ठीक ही चल रहा था, 3B सेटल भी हो गया था, तो उसके बाद why are we going into a new 3B? इसमें क्यों जा रहे हैं, क्यों इतने सारे columns, tables are being changed? So that was the question that was coming in the minds of many of the taxpayers. So the question, yeah, basically the question, answer to this particular question lies in the next slide that I'm going to show to you, wherein see what happened. So ASMT 10, this is ASMT 10. It's an annexure of ASMT 10. ASMT 10, as you all know, is issued when a scrutiny of returns is taking place, and when the proper officer is scrutinizing the returns, amongst other things, output tax and all those things are there. One of the key areas is reviewing the 3B figures. So what are the 3B figures that are being reviewed by the department? That we need to take care of. So first is ITC uploaded by the suppliers after the date prescribed under section 16(4). So what is happening here? In 17-18, okay, and in 18-19 to a certain extent, we didn't have the option to match it with 2A or 2B. So during that period, we have availed the ITC just on the basis of our books, because at a particular point of time, we were told that GSTR 3B is going to come in. Okay. So now, when we were just tallying it with the books, we didn't check whether the supplier has uploaded the invoice or not. So now what has happened is, for 17-18 and 18-19 mostly, we are getting this, mismatch, wherein the department is saying that, okay, you have availed it before the due date for 16(4), which is September of the next year, or the due date of filing of the returns. But the supplier has furnished his outward supplies only after the due date of 16(4). So now here our logic was that, sir, whether that is my problem, because I am told to avail the credit within 16(4) deadlines. It is not compulsory that the supplier has to file it. But with the current infrastructure in place, with 16(2) AA coming into place, only if the ITC is available in my 2B, I am bound, or I am eligible to avail that ITC in my GSTR 3. So that is something that is coming out from the 2B. Next is ITC uploaded by suppliers whose registrations have been cancelled retrospectively. So what is happening here? You avail the ITC basis the 2B. So 2B में आ गया था, आपने देख लिया कि 2B में आ गया है, तो आपने क्रेडिट अवेल कर लिया. इसके बाद 3 महीने के बाद what happened? The registration of that particular taxpayer gets cancelled. So as and when the registration of the taxpayer gets cancelled, it is shown in GSTR 2A, not in 2B, because 2B is a static statement. So it is shown in GSTR 2A that the particular registration of that particular taxpayer supplier is cancelled from day 1. So here, am I supposed to go back and check every month whether all the suppliers from whom I have availed credit during the last 5 years, their registration is valid or not? But having said that, this is one of the queries that is coming in ASMT 10. So now what we need to do going forward, we'll discuss that when we take up the FAQ. Third is about the ITC uploaded by the suppliers who have not filed relevant 3B. So now in your GSTR 2B, you will get the figure, you will get the dates of filing of the GSTR 3B. So if the GSTR 3Bs are not filed for the last months or so, you can be well aware that you are not eligible to take that credit. Okay. So all these reconciliations which are there, we are always pleading as a taxpayer. Then next is the ITC in 2A, where the place of supply is shown as a state other than West Bengal. So what will happen? I am going to say Odisha and staying in a hotel there. The hotel has billed me GST, state GST, but the only thing that is being billed by the hotel is Odisha state GST and CGST. So the place of supply is in Odisha. So I am not supposed to take the credit in my returns. But till now, what was happening? I was seeing it in my 2A and they clear, so I just availed the credit. So they are saying that where the invoice is from a different place of supply for intrastate supplies, you cannot get the credit. That credit will not come in your 2B. Okay. ITC found reversible in proportion to exempt supply. So what is this? Whenever I'm making a supply of exempt supply and a taxable supply, suppose I'm a rice mill.
And same with like the same one only for sales purpose.
Yeah. So what is happening here is that I'm a rice mill, I'm selling rice, and I'm also selling rice bran. So I'm selling both exempt and taxable. So here, whatever ITC is related to the exempt supply, that has to be reversed. Okay. And apart from that, whatever is the common supply, common input credit, which I'm using for both taxable supply and exempt supply, that also has to be reversed in a particular proportion of exempt supply to the total supply. So all this exempt, all these reversals and all, I was not able to show in my return. Why? Because up tak mujhe ek hi table diya gaya tha. And what is the table? All other ITC was given, and one table was given of reversal under rule 42 and 43. Okay, and that was given. But you know, any other ITC that I had to reverse, I was not clear whether I should deduct it from all other ITC or I should show it in the other reversals. So this is the genesis for basically, another last item, ITC availed in 3B, filed after the last date prescribed in 16.4. So what is the scenario here? For April 21, the last date of filing of 3B for availing credit is September 3B, right? That is 20th of October as we speak. Because as we all know, the budget has actually amended the section by which we can avail the credit till November. Okay, but no such notification has been issued till now because it has to be ratified by all the states. So as we speak today, the due date for availing 16.4 would be the September 2022 returns. Okay, so whatever 3B I am filing for April 21 to March 22, I have to avail the credit within 20th October, considering that I'm a large taxpayer. Okay, so if I'm filing the April 21 return after September 2022, and say the amendment does not say I'm filing it in January 2023. So in that case, since I have filed the 3B after the due date of 16.4, okay, I was not eligible to avail the ITC. So here, whatever ITC I'm availing, say April 21 return I'm filing in January 23, I see that in April 2B there is a figure of 1 lakh. So I claim that while filing the return in January 23, I will not be eligible to take that credit and I'll have to reverse that. So this A70 10, these were happening and a lot of replies were being furnished by the taxpayers and they were constantly complaining, sir, I don't have a place, to show this reversals properly. I don't have a place to show the reclaiming of the ITC properly. Okay, say I'm reversing the credit because I have not paid the payment within 180 days. So when I'm reclaiming the credit, I'm showing it in all other ITC. Okay, and when I'm showing it in all other ITC, at times, if there's a timing difference, like for 21-22, say for 2021, I have reversed the credit. Why? I didn't pay to the supplier within 180 days. And when I come to 21-22, okay, when I come to 21-22, I pay the amount to the supplier and I reclaim that credit. Okay, so whenever I am doing that, in that particular situation, there is a mismatch. Why? Because in the next year, that figure will not come in my 2A because it was come in my earlier 2A. So all these disclosures could not be made properly and there was a lot of confusion. So what happened? After all these requests it went to the GST Council. In the 39th GST Council, they took a decision that, okay, we will align the forms. So what was the demand in the output tax related part? Allow amendment in form GSTR 3B. Okay, because at present only the omissions or the mistakes in 3B, they can be rectified in the returns till the last due date of September only. Okay. So after September, then what do we do? Say there is a mistake in a taxable value which I've shown, maybe not in the tax. So how do I do that? So the main demand of the trade was allow amendments to us. Secondly, another demand was that allow the reflection of the negative value of supplies. So, and the third demand was that please allow us, give us space in GSTR 3B to show the reclaiming of the credit, the reversals of the things properly. So that tomorrow, when there is the assessment, when there is scrutiny, when there is an audit, I don't have to do all those reconciliations and show that, okay, from all other ITC, I've deducted this figure, this figure, this figure, and then I've shown this figure. So, how is the structure until now? Auto-drafted input tax credit statement 3B was available from August 2020, and auto-population of ITC and liabilities are shown in 3B. So, what was the original idea of GST 1, 2, and 3 in 2017? So when we are sitting in 2022, what do we have with us? We have GSTR 1, the statement of outward supplies. We have GSTR 2B, which essentially is a static auto-populated statement, and it is playing the role of GSTR 2, which would have otherwise played. And basis the GSTR 1, GSTR 2, everything as was envisaged originally. कि हम लोग क्या करेंगे? 1 में डेटा डालेंगे, वो 2 में जाएगा, 2 से डेटा 3 में ऑटोमेटिकली पॉपुलेट हो जाएगा. What is the payable amount and what is the ITC amount? So that is where we are slowly merging forward. Why? In 3B, the output tax is being auto-populated from GSTR 1, and in the ITC column, they are being auto-populated from GSTR 2B. So finally, we complete a full circle and income from 1, 2, and 3 to 1, 2B, and 3. But the CBIC wanted to go a step forward. They wanted to give us further clarification. So they came up with 2 things, that is, the notification 14/2022, and they have also gone with the circular 170, which has clarified as to how that tables in GSTR 3B they need to be shown. Okay, so as to how they need to be shown. So the notified changes in GSTR table, table 4, they have been notified from 1st September, and that's what we are discussing today. Yeah. So now the next thing is that we need to understand why the changes have happened. That is also very important, because when we go to the client tomorrow, and हम लोग उनको बताने जाएंगे कि ये लगेगा, ये डॉक्यूमेंट लगेगा, ये नया टेबल इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, इसके लिए आपको इंफॉर्मेशन फर्दर देना पड़ेगा, लाइक फॉर इनएलिजिबल क्रेडिट देते नहीं थे तो अभी देना पड़ेगा. तो क्लाइंट हमसे पूछ सकते हैं कि आप ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं, कि आपको ये एडिशनल लगेगा, नहीं लगेगा, ये सब क्यों बोल रहे हैं. तो there are 2 reasons basically. One is to ensure correct accounting and accurate settlement of funds between the state and the sector. First, इसमें क्या हो रहा था? I will show in 3.2. तो हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे, जब भी हम लोग रिटर्न्स फाइल कर रहे थे, जैसे I'll just show it here quickly. इसमें जब हम रिटर्न फाइल कर रहे थे 3.2 में, इसमें क्या हो रहा था? When we are selling it to unregistered persons, we had to give place of supply. Now, in case of, and I just wanted to share another thing. There are 2 tables in GSTR 3B. One is the transaction table, जहां से output tax या फिर ITC output tax जाता है आपके पेमेंट सर्कल में, या फिर आपका ITC जाता है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर. और दूसरा टेबल जो है उसका नाम है डिस्क्लोजर टेबल. ये जो डिस्क्लोजर टेबल है, इसमें से कोई भी अमाउंट आपके टैक्सेस पे या फिर आपके इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में ट्रैवल नहीं करता. तो 3.2 इज ओनली अ डिस्क्लोजर टेबल. इससे आपका टैक्स इंपैक्ट नहीं होता है. जैसे टेबल 4 में डी, टेबल 4D इज अ डिस्क्लोजर टेबल. उससे आपका कोई भी फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में आपका कितना पैसा गया है. तो इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था? इसमें आप लोग सोच रहे थे कि अरे आई हैव शोन इन माय आउटपुट टैक्स द अमाउंट. तो I am supplying to maybe people from 10 states. Say from 10 different states, I am making outward unregistered supply. But what I've shown is that just for the sake of convenience, I've just shown it randomly for one state. So I've shown here in the place of supply Maharashtra, and I've shown the total taxable value, and I've put the integrated tax. But because of this, the settlement between the states was not happening properly. Why? Because the money, the tax that had to go to, say, some different states, say Tamil Nadu or maybe to Delhi, it was not going to that particular state. It is going only to the state of Maharashtra. So that's why in 3.2, it has been made mandatory now that you have to give, it was always mandatory, but now they are giving it through the circular. They have told, given the instruction that the place of supply here needs to be fulfilled clearly. Now, a question may be asked. आप पूछ सकते हैं कि अच्छा ठीक है, अगर हम लोग इसको प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई गलत दिखा दिया तो क्या है? आपने अभी बताया कि डिस्क्लोजर टेबल है, तो डिस्क्लोजर टेबल में कुछ देने से वो ट्रांजैक्शन में फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. बट सर और मैडम, प्लीज ट्राई टू रिमेम्बर, आपने अगर यहाँ पे गलत इंफॉर्मेशन डाल दिया है एंड टुमारो आपका जब जीएसटी स्क्रूटनी हो रहा है या फिर ऑडिट हो रहा है, देन द प्रॉपर ऑफिसर विल आस्क यू फॉर द अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, ही विल आस्क यू प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई वाइज फिगर्स. And if he sees that in the books, the place of supply wise figures are different, say they are from 10 to 11 states, but here you have shown it in 2 states just for the sake of convenience. So what he may say is that आप इसको amend कर दो, अगर amend करने का time है तो, और अगर amend करने का time नहीं है, then I think it will be information, giving of information in the wrong way or suppressing the proper information, which may lead to a penalty. Okay, because taxes ultimately are paid, but try to understand when you are paying with the state place of supply, with a different state, but the paisa jana chahiye tha Tamil Nadu ko, and you are showing it in Maharashtra. So essentially, Tamil Nadu is not getting the money. So the proper officer may tell you that because of this, there is a wrong disclosure, the settlements are happening wrong. So what you do is you again pay the money and claim the refund of whatever you paid. Okay. Yeah, sir, thank you for raising the hand. So for whatever queries are there, I'll just take it after I go through the table 4 query. So what is the other change that is there in GSTR from the output tax side? The other change is for e-commerce operators. So who are e-commerce operators? The government is actually going to categorize the tax on intrastate supplies, of which tax shall be made by the electronic commerce operator. If such supplies are made through it, and provisions of that shall apply to such eco as if he is a supplier liable for paying the tax. So it is the Swiggy of the world, Oyos of the world, okay, and the Urban Pros of the world. So what is happening here is that essentially it's an electronic commerce operator, means who owns, operates or manages digital electronic facility or platform for electronic commerce. So इसमें क्या होगा? Whoever is giving the supply, the supplier will not raise the tax invoice. The tax invoice will be raised by the e-commerce operator, and they will be making the payment of the tax. So from 1st January, there was a change. 1st January 2022, there was a change. What is the change? Initially, there was radio taxi, motor cab, and maxi cab and motorcycle who have brought into the net. In 2021, they have brought in buses and also other vehicles and restaurant services. Apart from this, what is the other change they have made? They told that now on from 1st January 2022, the supplier, say the restaurant which is supplying through Swiggy, that restaurant will not raise the invoice. They will not show it as if there is a taxable supply in the GSTR 3B. So who will show it? The e-commerce operator will show it. And what will the restaurant show? The restaurant will show in the exempt supply. But again, there was a lot of confusion on this, because many e-commerce operators, they were showing it there, and the restaurants were again showing the taxable supply, but they didn't pay the tax. So there was a hell lot of confusion. So finally, what is the change suggested? The change suggested is that the e-commerce operators and the restaurants, they don't need to fill up 3.1 for all their e-commerce operations. What will they file? They will file table 3.1.1, and what will they do? They will separately show the amount that they had to pay under 9.5, and for the restaurant operators, they will show it in the column 3.1.12, which is on which there is no tax payable. So these are the 2 tables which are there. As you can see, for the electronic commerce operator, he will put the taxable value and the tax, and for the restaurant, okay, or maybe the supplier who is supplying through Oyo, Okay, or maybe the supplier who is, the driver who, Uber, he's registered, so he has to show. So he will be showing in two, column 3.1.12, and he will just show the taxable value. He will not show the taxable. So these are the changes on the output side. And what was the other reason for the change? So if we quickly go back, other reason for change was to ensure, regarding to ensure uniformity among taxpayers. So what was happening? Some of the taxpayers, they were showing the reversals by deducting it from all other items. Some of the taxpayers, they were deducting, Rule 37 reversals from all other ITC. And again, when they were availing it, they were adding it to all other ITC. So there are a lot of confusions and a lot of different situations which were happening. Okay. And what was happening regarding 17.5 blocked credit? You did not have to avail it in the credit, and you just have to show a separate disclosure here in 4D1. You have to show this. This is the earlier table that I'm showing. But what was happening? Many taxpayers, they have not shown it in the disclosure table of D1, 4D1. So what is the repercussion of that? Today, when department is coming for GST audit or for scrutiny, in certain places, there is an allegation that you have availed the eligible credit, ineligible credit. Why? Why are they saying that? They're saying that because you are not shown it separately, firstly. Secondly, what we can see is that whatever is, the total ITC available to you, you have availed the entire ITC in that particular month. Okay. But the particular taxpayer could not explain to them that maybe there were some figures which are coming in maybe April GSTR 2B, and I've availed it in May to June 2B. So that was the rationale because of which my all other ITC was more than the May 2020 2B. But the allegation is that no, since you have not disclosed it here in 17.5, so we will assume that you have availed the ineligible credit. So now you have to reverse it and pay the taxes. So what was the solution? Solution is here. And what is the solution? See, import of goods, import of services, inward supplies liable to reverse charge, inward supplies from IFC, this part is same. So I don't need to discuss about this. But I'll obviously give some time for discussing all other items. So today also in the WhatsApp groups, I was seeing that there was a doubt that whether, the reversals, they need to be deducted from all other ITC. Whether, whether I can take lesser figure than what is shown in 2B. I can take a higher figure than what is shown in 2B. See, everything is possible. But what is the benchmark? What is the benchmark that CBIC is trying to attain through the change of the form? And please, just for the sake of clarity, I would like to say another thing. That is, हम लोग बार-बार बोलते हैं कि ये GST लॉ अलग है, GST ने चेंज कर दिया, लॉ में कहीं पे नहीं लिखा है, कैसे हो सकता है? Let us appreciate and understand कि जो भी कर रहे हैं GST जो भी फॉर्म में चेंज कर रहे हैं, they can do it only after the law is changed, only after the form is notified. They are only doing the background thing of changing the form, the technical part. They cannot do on the legal part. So all other ITC में क्या आएगा? All other ITC में जितना भी आपने 2B में दिखाया है, entire thing has to come in all other ITC. That is the first part. ठीक है ना? अगर आपके 2B में अगर आपका सपोज 200 रुपया आया है, तो आपको इसमें क्या दिखाना पड़ेगा? इसमें आपको 200 रुपया दिखाना पड़ेगा. फिर आप उसका reconciliation कीजिए. You carry out a proper reconciliation of that 200, which has come auto-populated from your 2B. But friends, I would suggest that going forward from August onwards, we should not show any figure which is lesser than 2B. It can be higher than 2B in certain situations, which I'll discuss during the FAQ today and tomorrow, but it cannot be lesser than the 2B. And when I say it cannot be lesser than 2B, why do I say it? इसमें क्या बोला गया है कि आपको जो भी टैक्स मतलब आईटीसी जो भी आ रहा है उसको आपको पूरा लेना पड़ेगा. इसके बाद अगर आपका ऐसा कुछ है जो आपको क्रेडिट नहीं लेना चाहिए, जैसे आपका रूल 37 के हिसाब से you have not made the payment to the supplier within 180 days, so you have to reverse that amount, ITC. So what you do is show it in others, and whatever credit you have to reverse for common credit, rule 42, 43, that you have to reverse in 4B1. So what they have done, अभी और एक एग्जांपल है, जैसे कि गुड्स इन ट्रांजिट. तो अब तक हम क्या बोलते थे क्लाइंट्स को कि सर आपको जब तक गुड्स या सर्विस नहीं मिलता है आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलेगा उसका, राइट? आज भी वो बात वहीं पे टिका हुआ है, वही है। इवन टुडे without receiving the goods or the services, please note you are not availing the credit. And why do I say so with such strong conviction? Because जब भी आप गुड्स इन ट्रांजिट है आपका, जो आपके पास गुड्स आया नहीं है, या सर्विसेज आपके पास बिल आ गए हैं बट आपको अभी तक सर्विस मिला नहीं है, इसका आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? इसका आपको ऑल अदर आईटीसी में टैक्स आप ले रहे हो क्योंकि वो 2B में आ गया है, बट in your 4B2 you can always reverse that credit. So 4B2 is temporary reversal, 4B1 is permanent reversal. So I will now take you quickly to the next part. So इसमें क्या है? The entire set of data that is available from 2B is to be carried forward in 3B, except two things. What are the two things which are not to be taken and which will not be shown in your eligible credit? One is 16.4, मतलब 2021 के कुछ इनवॉइसेस अभी सप्लायर ने अपलोड किया है। 2021 के कुछ इनवॉइसेस अभी सप्लायर ने अपलोड किया है, तो वो आपके एलिजिबल आईटीसी में नहीं दिखेगा। सो वो आपको नहीं लेना है, ऑल अदर आईटीसी में उसको नहीं लेना है क्योंकि वो आपके एलिजिबल आईटीसी में नहीं दिखेगा। सेकेंड, जहां पे पीओएस डिफरेंट है, जैसे कि मैं रहता हूं वेस्ट बंगाल में, बट मैं घूमने गया था ड्यूरिंग वेकेशंस टू मे बी महाराष्ट्र, और वहां पे जाके मैं किसी होटल पे रुका हूँ या फिर और कुछ सर्विसेज मैंने लिया है जो जिसपे कि सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी महाराष्ट्र का लगता है बेस्ड ऑन प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इन महाराष्ट्र। तो फिर क्योंकि वो टैक्स जो है सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी रिलेटेड टू प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई महाराष्ट्र, वो मेरे एलिजिबल क्रेडिट में नहीं दिखेगा। सो फॉर द सेक ऑफ क्लैरिटी आई एम जस्ट रिपीटिंग इट। दो चीजें जो हम लोग ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि जो अपने एलिजिबल क्रेडिट में 2B में नहीं दिखेगा और जो हम लोगों को 3B में नहीं लेना है, those two things are: one, the supplier has uploaded invoices after 16/4 date. That means for the due date of filing of that 16/4, the availing the credit under 16/4, that is gone. So for this year till September 2022, it is for 2021. So as we move from September 2022 मतलब October 22 जाने के बाद अगर कोई सितंबर का रिटर्न नहीं भरता है, मतलब 21-22 का रिटर्न कोई जाके जनवरी में भरता है, तो उसका जो मेरे पास 2B में आएगा वो इनएलिजिबल क्रेडिट में दिखेगा, एलिजिबल क्रेडिट में नहीं दिखेगा। नेक्स्ट, रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन विल रिपोर्ट रिवर्सिबल ऑफ आईटीसी व्हिच आर एब्सोल्यूट इन नेचर एंड नॉट रिक्लेमेबल। सो फ्रेंड्स, आई विल टेक 2 मिनट्स हियर। थिंग इज दैट अभी जैसे मैंने बताया क्या किया, डिस्टिंग्विश कैसे किया हम लोगों ने परमानेंट रिवर्सल और टेम्पररी रिवर्सल। तो टेम्पररी रिवर्सल क्या हुआ? दोज रिवर्सल्स व्हिच आर टेम्पररी इन नेचर एंड लेटर क्रेडिट कैन बी अवेल्ड। जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, जब हम लोग बाहर में घूमने जाते हैं, ट्रेकिंग करने जाते हैं, तो हम लोग टेंट लगाते हैं। तो ये जो टेंट है ना, ये टेम्पररी रेसिडेंस है, तो वहां पे हम लोग रुक नहीं सकते ज्यादा दिन, कुछ दिनों के लिए रुकेंगे, कुछ क्षणों के लिए रुकेंगे, या फिर मे बी 1 महीने के लिए रुक सकते हैं, उससे ज्यादा हम लोग नहीं रुकेंगे, वो परमानेंट इन नेचर नहीं। तो ये जो आप टेम्पररी रिवर्सल भी कर रहे हो ना, you are doing it only for certain period, maybe for your tax period up to which you can avail the credit. So if I am discussing about maybe April 22, whenever I am taking it in temporary reversal, the lifetime of my temporary reversal is only till September 23. Okay, so for 22-23 financial year, whatever I am showing in my temporary reversal in table 4B2, the lifetime of that temporary reversal ends when September 3B ends, or if the date is amended by notification till November, then that notification, that date. Okay, so before that date, I will have to reclaim that credit and show it in permanent reversal. So before the end of the date of 16/4, as in till now, the date for 16/4 is September 3B. So for 21-22, any ITC I'm going to avail it within this month. Now for 22-23, any ITC I'm availing, and then I'm showing it in temporary reversal. क्यों दिखाया मैंने temporary reversal में? I have not made the payment to the supplier within 180 days, so I've shown it in temporary reversal. I have not got the goods or services. I have shown it in temporary reversal. But I have to remember that by next September 2023, और November 2023, which is was extended by section 16(4), जो भी होता है उसके पहले I'll have to avail it in my ITC, and if I can't avail it in all other ITC, I'll have to avail it in my all other ITC and show it as permanent reversal. Okay. Next, what is permanent reversal? Those reversals for which credit needs to be reversed and cannot be reclaimed in a future date. So ये आपका क्या हो गया? परमानेंट घर हो गया, आपका कोठी हो गया, जहां पे आप रहते हो, तो यही पे आप परमानेंटली रहते हो। तो एक बार आपने जो भी परमानेंटली रिवर्स कर दिया, उसका रिक्लेम करने का बात आई गई। तो परमानेंट रिवर्सल में क्या क्या जाएगा? रूल 38 बैंकिंग फाइनेंस कंपनी के लिए, रूल 42 which we reverse for ITC on supply of exempted goods and services, रूल 43 कैपिटल गुड्स, जहां पे कि मैं एग्जेम्प्ट सप्लाई और टैक्सेबल सप्लाई दोनों करता हूं। मैंने कैपिटल गुड्स खरीदा है, उस पे मैंने आईटीसी अवेल किया है, तो अभी मैं रिवर्स करते करते जा रहा हूं, तो दैट विल बी रिवर्स्ड अंडर रूल 43, दैट इज अ परमानेंट रिवर्सल। इनएलिजिबल आईटीसी अंडर सेक्शन 17(5). तो sirs and madams, please try to understand, यहां तक तो ठीक था कि जहां पे ये रिवर्सल दिखाना था, क्योंकि हम लोग पहले भी दिखाते थे, रूल 42 43 के रिवर्सल हम लोग पहले भी दिखाते थे। बट प्लीज बी केयरफुल, टेल योर क्लाइंट्स कि 17(5) का रिवर्सल भी आपको अभी परमानेंट रिवर्सल में दिखाना पड़ेगा। तो मैंने मोटर कार खरीदा है, पहले मैं क्या करता था, उसको ऑल अदर आईटीसी में नहीं लेता था, सिंपल बात खत्म। और मैंने D1 में दिखाया नहीं दिखाया अलग बात है, कुछ लोगों ने दिखाया कुछ लोगों ने नहीं दिखाया। बट अब क्या है, अब आपको जो है उसको दिखाना पड़ेगा, आपको परमानेंट रिवर्सल्स में आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा। या तो परमानेंट रिवर्सल्स में आपको दिखाना पड़ेगा, और दिखा के फिर आपको वो जो है डिस्क्लोजर टेबल में डिस्क्लोज करना पड़ेगा कि आपने कितना इसका 75 में किया है। और क्या है, इनकरेक्ट क्रेडिट अवेल ड्यू टू टाइपिंग एरर। तो ये कैसे एरर हो गया? जैसे कि आपका आईटीसी एक्चुअली था क्या था, 2 लाख का था, तो आपने गलती से आपने वो 20 लाख का पंच कर दिया। तो वो अगर आपने गलती से पहले किया है, तो उसको आपको जब आप रिवर्स करना है, वो 18 लाख जो रिवर्स होगा वो परमानेंट रिवर्सल में जाए। ठीक है ना? मतलब क्या हुआ, मैंने जुलाई के पहले कभी जाके मैंने गलत आईटीसी ले लिया था, टाइपिंग मिस्टेक हो गया था मेरे से, और मुझे अभी समझ में आया। तो when the officer is telling me that why have you claimed 18 lakhs extra from your 2B, so I got it, oh my god, there is a mistake that I have done. So what I'll do is I will actually reverse the credit of 18 lakhs. So that 18 lakhs has to be reversed now in your permanent reversal, not on your temporary reversal. So this is about permanent reversal and temporary reversal that I've discussed. This is the broad structure here which is there. And net ITC में कौन सा जाएगा? आपका net ITC में कौन सा फिगर जा रहा है? 4A minus 4B करके जो भी फिगर है वो net ITC में जा रहा है। So now coming to the next thing. What is the next thing? The other detail. इसको हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? Disclosure table. जो मैंने जैसे अभी बताया आपको कि there are 2 tables. One is the transaction table. So A, B, C, which are given, till C, these are all transaction tables. Why? Because whatever figure you put here, it impacts your electronic credit ledger. Whatever figure, but the import of goods में दिया तो that will go to credit ledger. You have shown some all other that will go to credit ledger. You have reversed that will be deducted from the figure going to credit. But whatever is there in D, that is whatever the disclosures you are giving. What are the disclosures you are giving? ITC claim which was reversed earlier, and ineligible ITC under section 16(4) and ITC restricted due to POS provisions. So all these disclosures which you are giving, these are not impacting your electronic credit ledger. Please mind. Today also we saw a query wherein the queries was asking, okay, I'm putting the figures in D, but why is my electronic credit ledger not getting impacted? Reason is the D is a disclosure table wherein you give the figures just for giving proper disclosure, so that when tomorrow your audit happens, the department will be aware ki what was the Rule 37 credit, means I did pay to the supplier, I had reversed it under other reversals. Now in the next month I have availed it under all other ITC. So what is that amount? That they will be clear from D1. And what is the amount that I am not claiming for 16(4)? That will be clear from D2. So I'll just quickly take you to an example. So इसमें क्या है? Invoice 1 is there wherein 2 lakhs is the credit available. Invoice 2, ITC is available for 1 lakh, but I have not got the goods. Invoice 3, ITC bill of entry pay 10 lakhs. Invoice 4, there is a blocked credit. I have purchased steel for using in my building construction 3 lakhs. So as on date, till July 3B, what was I showing? I was showing 12 lakhs. Why 12 lakhs? 10 lakhs of my import, ITC on import, and 2 lakhs on my eligible credit. That's what I was showing. Okay, and nothing else. So 10 lakhs are showing import and 2 lakhs in all other ITC. But what will change now? Now, entire 6 lakhs. See, entire 6 lakhs. This 2 lakhs, this 1 lakh, and this 3 lakhs. That means invoice 1, invoice 2, invoice 4. All will be added. And I'll add it to where? All other ITC. Okay. And all other ITC I'll show it. And then the 3 lakhs that I have actually availed, that I've availed for the blocked credit, and the 1 lakh for which the goods are in transit. Where will I show it? I will show it here. In 4B1, I will show the amount of the blocked credit. In 4B2, I will show the reversal for the goods for the invoice which I am availing the credit for which I have not got the goods or the invoice. So this is how it is. Now there is a question regarding accounting. So in one of the seminars I went, so people asked, the participants asked me that, sir, ये तो सब ठीक है, लेकिन accounting कैसे करें? तो मैंने सोचा कि accounting का भी थोड़ा बहुत इसमें देना चाहिए. So what I have suggested is, let us book the expense. Say in August, let us book the expense as food expense 100 rupees, ineligible ITC, 5 rupees to cash bank supplier. And then in August, August तो हम लोगों ने ये दिखा दिया. Then what happens? Then since you are not availing this ITC, you are reversing this ITC. Then in September, what you show is that this amount, particularly ineligible ITC, that has to be actually credited and food expense will be debited. So food expense will be 100 rupees and ineligible ITC will be credited by 5. Sorry, food expense will be 5 rupees. Ineligible ITC food will be 5 rupees. So net what is happening? My food expense is being booked by 105 rupees. And my ITC will not lie in my books of accounts. Okay, so this is the accounting treatment that I could think of, but we have accountants in the team. Maybe we can suggest some other accounting entries also. So now what is important? What is important is that as soon as your clients get the tax invoice, they have to book it. So what happens is that, sometimes it lies in the marketing department, logistics department, that department. So we have to tell them that, sirs and madams, try to understand. I have to do the reconciliation with 2B. तो ऐसा अगर है कि सप्लायर ने आपको इनवॉइस दे दिया है, आपके मार्केटिंग टीम के पास पड़ा हुआ है, आपके फाइनेंस के पास नहीं आया है, तो वो बुक्स में बुक नहीं हुआ है, तो इट इज बिकमिंग a reconciliation entry. Okay, the more we increase the reconciliation entry, the more difficult it becomes. So that's why for every line item, let us try to tell the client that for every line item, please check whether the invoice is available to you or not. Okay, so if the invoice is not available, so what do? There will be a matching of my books and my 2B. So whatever is matched, that is okay with me. But whatever is not matching, so whatever is there in my portal extra, in 2B extra, and is not there in my books, for all those entries, now I need to check whether there's goods in transit, whether it is for some service that I've received, or it is for some error that has happened. Because even by mistake also, sometimes, the ITC is coming to my account. So this is the accounting entry for goods in transit. So what I have shown is that goods in transit 100 rupees. I've booked it. GST on goods in transit is 5 rupees. Okay, I've booked it in the temporary, or I've shown it as ITC temporary. You can show it as, any other head, but you have to keep it clear that end of the year, you have to be clear that for that particular month, what was your temporary credit that you have taken and reversed. Okay, so that's why I'm suggesting that let us all create the ITC ledger separately and don't keep it in all other ITC together, because that may create demarcations later on. So this I've already discussed. So this is the part that I have to complete. So that is the part that I've completed about the technical part. So now, for maybe next 10 minutes, I will take you through some of the queries that I've already got in the group. in the different seminars I've attended, different webinars, seminars that I've taken, or in the different WhatsApp groups that I'm handling the queries that I've got. So I'm sure and confident that, okay. Am I audible now? Yeah. Okay. So I hope I'm audible. Okay, thank you very much. So what is the first question? First question that came is that that about wrong invoice amount uploaded in GSTR 1 by the supplier. So what has happened? This is a common situation happening across many people. In the invoice, the ITC amount is 10,000. Okay. And in the GSTR 1, the supplier has uploaded it as maybe say 20,000. So what am I supposed to do? Because now I have to do the entire reconciliation with my 2B. So in this case, what we are suggesting is that whenever there is an upward mistake in ITC, means 10,000 in invoice is shown as 20,000 in GSTR 1 and consequently in your 2B. So what we need to do is avail the 20,000. Avail the 20,000 and show it in temporary reversal, the 10,000 in temporary reversal. Now, you will ask me that why am I showing it in temporary reversal? Please appreciate that this 10,000 is going to be amended by the supplier. Okay, if it is in the timeline. If it is not in the timeline, then it's a different story. But normally, if it is in the timeline, he is going to amend that particular invoice. So tomorrow, when he is going to amend that particular invoice, from downgrade from 20,000 to 10,000, what do? We take this 10,000 from the temporary reversal and show it in all other ITC and then show it in permanent reversal. So till the moment he shows it, you know why? Because when he's going to show a downward reversal in your 2B, when he's going to revise it, your 2B will be a negative 10,000. Your 2B will be a negative 10,000. So at that time, what do? You cannot, reverse it. So that's why what you do in that particular month, you add it to your all other ITC. So the 10,000 negative and the 10,000 that you add, that becomes 0 and you show it in your permanent reversals. Okay. So that is how it's going to be taken care of. Next query that we got, FAQ, is that wrong invoice issued by supplier and consequently credit note issued by the supplier. So what has happened here? The supplier, he has actually issued an invoice by mistake. That means he had to issue it on Mr. X, but by mistake he issued it to Mr. D. And he realized the mistake the next day. But since he's doing it from SAP, he does not have a provision to cancel the invoice. Or maybe, he's done an e-invoice and he's all those cancellation time is gone and all those things is there. All the things are there. So what he has done, the next day, or maybe 2 days after that, he has raised the credit. Now, since this transaction does not relate to you, ये आपके आसपास कहीं भी नहीं है ट्रांजैक्शन, तो इसलिए क्या हो रहा है, आपको मालूम नहीं है कि क्या होगा. आपको जब तक 2B आपके पास नहीं आता है, जब तक आपको ये इनवॉइस 2B में नहीं दिखता, आपको मालूम ही नहीं है कि इनवॉइस भी रेज किया और क्रेडिट भी किया. So what should we do with this? So here my view is that we take it in all other ITC and show it in permanent reversal. Show it in all other ITC and show it in permanent reversal. So the query may come to your mind कि सर मैंने जब परचेज किया ही नहीं है तो इसको क्यों भला ले ले ऑल अदर आईटीसी में परमानेंट रिवर्सल में. अगर हम नहीं भी दिखाते हैं तो मेरा तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर में उतना ही जाएगा. To that, my reply to you would be, sir, I am already defending one show cause notice wherein my client had not availed the ITC on a particular invoice. Similar story. They had not availed the ITC on that invoice, and naturally they have not taken the credit note. They have not reversed the ITC on the credit. But today the show cause notice is issued saying that there is a credit note in your two-way which you have not reversed. So you need to reverse it now. And the problem that you have not availed the ITC, that is your problem. Why didn't you tell the supplier to amend the credit? It is your problem. You had the information. So that's why on the basis of this, the facts that are happening, I would suggest that you show it in all other ITC and show it in permanent reversal. Otherwise, tomorrow what may happen? You will not be questioned why you have not availed the ITC, but you will be questioned as to why you have not reversed the credit note figures. Okay, why have you not reversed the credit? Next is RCM supplies wrongly shown from registered supplier shown in 2B. So what is happening here? The RCM is being raised, RCM invoice is being raised by a particular person. And when he is raising the RCM invoice, he has just ticked it there, pay tax payable under RCM. Okay. So when it is coming to you, it is coming as you have to pay the tax under RCM. So in this case, what is the reason? The goods GTA was actually supplying exempted category of goods, but he did not bother to show it in under exempted category. He rather showed it as B2B supplies and ticked the tax payable under RCM basis. So here, one of the options could be to tell the vendor to actually, change it from, B2B to exempted. But we are not sure whether you will do it or not. You under the relationships are there. But here you need to have a clear understanding and inform it to the department that this RCM, which is auto-populating to my 2B as payable under RCM, is wrong in nature because the product is a taxable product, is an exempted category product. And at the same time, let us be really aware when we are getting the invoice. Because in this case, when we got the show cause notice, the officer said, sir, when you're getting the invoice with the thing saying that whether payable under RCM ticked, why did you accept that invoice? Because here no tax is payable. Here no tax is payable. So how could he raise the tax invoice? Okay, so he cannot do it. He should have just said that there is no tax. It's an exempted category of goods, giving the HSN particular there. So let us be very conscious when we are accepting the invoices only. Okay. Next is taxable value and tax amount shown by supplier in invoice is different from taxable value and tax reflected in 2B. So here in the earlier example, what had happened? It was, 10,000 was shown as extra as 20,000. But here, what is happening in many situations is that the taxable value is shown as wrong. So the invoice is 12% tax. But when you show it in GSTR 1, they are showing it with 18% tax. Okay. So that is how things are happening. So here also what we are suggesting is that if it's a higher version, avail the ITC and show it in temporary reversal. When the amendment happens, then take the ITC and then show the permanent reversal. Next, invoices is Maharashtra POS but reflected in 2B, whether to be availed and then reversed. As I've already explained, if the POS, place of supply, is different from your state, then that invoice will not flow to your GSTR 2B. That will be shown as ineligible credit. So for intrastate supplies, whenever CGST is GST shown in a different state, say in Maharashtra or whatever, for different state, the POS is shown, you don't need to do anything because it will not be coming in your eligible credit. You just need to show it as a declaration in a disclosure in the table D. In D2, you have to show it that, this is the ITC related to the POS problem. So next is what will be the impact of cancellation of registration of supplier. So here, as I was discussing, the ITC you have availed in a particular month, and now suddenly the registration is cancelled for that particular supplier. So now department is telling you that you have to reverse this ITC. So I'm not going into the legal litigation part because there are a lot of legal reasoning behind it where we don't have to reverse it. Okay, because I don't need to check whether the supplier is registered at every point of time. I need to check about his registrations only when I'm buying the product from him. If he's having a valid registration, if he has shown the credit in my GSTR 1, in his GSTR 1, which is populated to my 2B, I can take the credit. But going beyond this, say the taxpayer, your client, he does not want to go into any litigation. He wants to reverse the particular thing. He's saying, okay, it's a small amount, 10,000 ka ITC hai. I have taken it in the month of November 18. November 2021. So now I want to reverse it. I don't want to reverse it through DRC 03. I want to reverse it through my GSTR 3B. So what do I do? So here we need to understand that here the credit has not come out in this month. The credit has been availed in a past month. So whatever you are reversing, it has to go under permanent reversal. It has to go under permanent reversal. Similarly, next question, invoice shown in 2B prior to July 2022, but not booked in accounts or availed the same. So what is happening here? In my April 2B, in my April 22 2B, invoice of April 22 is showing, but I have not availed it at that time. Why? Because I have not got the approval for the invoice from my finance team. So the finance team has put a hold on the payment. So they said, no, we'll just see whether the invoice is okay or not. And once we approve it, then we'll give it to you. Then only you can process the payment and then you can take the same into accounts. So in this case, what is happening is now in the month of August or maybe in the month of September, you are seeing that your invoice has been processed and it's showing in your books of accounts. So what do we do? So for this, we need to avail it in all other items. Simply we'll avail it in all other items. But friends, here I have to say something, which is that for all these items, when I say all these items, I would particularly mean 3 to 4 things. One, ITC, which was shown in 2B earlier. 2B में दिखा दिया था, 2B में दिख रहा था पहले, but मैंने लिया नहीं है. ऐसे जो फिगर्स है, इसको मुझे देखना चाहिए. दूसरा, मेरे बुक्स में है, but 2B में आया नहीं अभी तक. ये फिगर भी मेरे पास क्लियर रहना चाहिए. ठीक है ना? ये दोनों जो फिगर्स हैं, 21, 22, we are already at the fag end of the year. So I will not discuss much about that. अगर वो आता है तो हम लोग ले लेंगे, और अगर नहीं आता है तो then we cannot. अगर 2B में नहीं आता तो नहीं ले सकते. But for figures which are shown in 2B earlier period and we have not booked in the accounts, if you see that those are genuine expenses, okay, and they are legible expenses, not ineligible expenses, then in that case, I would suggest that in the month of August, please avail all those items so that in the months coming forward, you don't have to face a problem every month or month. So what you can do is you can either avail that ITC and show it in temporary reverse. And whenever you are booking it in your books, maybe you can avail the ITC at a later point of time. Or the other approach is that you just avail the same in the month in which you are booking that. You are booking the invoice. You can follow each or either of them. One, which I am suggesting to my clients, is that make a complete reconciliation. कितने ऐसे बिल्स हैं जो कि मुझे 2B में ऑलरेडी दिख रहा है आज के दिन में, मतलब अगस्त से पहले जुलाई 2B तक मुझे दिख रहा है, अप्रैल से जुलाई तक दिख रहा है, बट मैंने लिया नहीं है. तो उतने का जो भी है आप क्रेडिट में ले लो और उसका टेम्पररी रिवर्सल दिखा दो अगर आपके बुक्स में नहीं आया, और अगर आपके बुक्स में जब भी आता है तो उसको आप ऑल अदर आइटम्स में ट्रांसफर करो, रिक्लेम कर दो. और अगर आपको ऐसा नहीं करना है, देन यू कैन ऑलवेज गो फॉर ऑप्शन 2, व्हिच इज जब भी आपके वो इनवॉइसेस अकाउंट में बुक होते हैं तो उसको ऑल अदर आइटम्स में आप ले सकते हो, बिकॉज दिस इज अ ट्रांजिशन प्रोविजन. So it's already 8:30. I'll try to close here so that I already have some more FAQs which we'll discuss, maybe tomorrow. So in the meantime, I would like to have any questions from the group. If they are there, then maybe we can take on those questions because we have about 15 minutes. So you can either raise your hand or you can also unmute yourself. Or if you want, maybe then I can continue with the question and answers. I think I'll do that. Yeah. I'll maybe try to complete 2 more FAQs so that, because all these FAQs, these are from the industry itself. So the next FAQ is about B2B supply shown in B2CL by supplier. As the registration of the recipient was suspended. तो इसमें क्या हुआ ध्यान से सुनिए, आपके जो सप्लायर्स हैं, ठीक है ना, सॉरी आपके जो कस्टमर्स हैं उनका, अच्छा तो परिमल जी हैज अ क्वेश्चन, आई विल टेक दैट फर्स्ट. या
Sir, what about the IGST of import?
हाँ, वो that is same. IGST on import remains the same. उसमें कोई चेंज नहीं हुआ.
No, sir. There is a problem regarding custom side where they are not disclosing a properly way to GSTR to be. Everyone, I have to be reported in one of the option given, but this option does not give an answer within a due date before the due date of time, so that we can claim as per the custom BOI basis. But these types of practices every month we have to be problem that. So any kind of solution that which the custom department has given a properly way.
No, till now for this there is no solution for import of goods because there is still a problem with the interface that is happening between the two of them. So that's why even in case of refunds also we are facing problems at times.
Yes.
So for that only when the import of goods is being reflected, then people are availing the ITC. Otherwise, even on the basis of the BOE that you have, you can avail the ITC, and later on you can, if you can prove properly that the custom IGST was paid in that particular month, I think that should not be a problem for import of goods.
So even if one point that I added that under the BOI, we also should be carefully analysis that sometimes in a month of the end, we have to pay in a 31st or 30, but goods are actually received or released by 1st of day.
Yes.
This is, we have to also see that as under the custom import BOI.
Right. So in those cases also, what is suggested is that if you are, firstly, it's better not to avail that trade and avail it in the next month. But agar cash flow ke liye if you're availing it, then you can always, tell it that you can always go for the reversals. But उसमें क्या problem होगा, बाद में आपका जो reconciliation है वो बढ़ जाएगा. So that's why it's always better that when you have received the goods, when the clearance has already happened, only after that we can take the credit.
Yes, I have to all follow the next month.
Yes, follow the next one. That is better.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have one more question here. Yeah. So it is from Madam Archana Madam. So how mandatory is this to amend 3B in August 2022 return? Okay. Yes, this is a very important question that Madam has asked, which Archana ji has asked, which is that whether in August 2022 we have to follow this very strictly, this 3B that is there. As per my advice to the clients, what I've told them, that let us try to follow to the best extent possible. Why do I say best extent possible? In a few cases where 17.5 is not mapped in my software, it is really a challenge right now to find out all the 17.5 reversals. So that is one thing. Secondly, about goods in transit. Goods in transit ka kya hai? I'll give you a practical example that I'm already fighting a show cause notice on this particular ground. So इसमें क्या हुआ है कि marketing department क्या करते हैं कि PO raise करते हैं for marketing goods, for say POP products or any other promotion products, and they get all the invoices. After they get the invoices, they see whether everything is proper, this, that, and then only they approve. Then only it goes to the finance department, right? So in this particular situations, there is a huge gap between which the invoice is raised by the supplier and the time by which it comes to the finance. So maybe it is a time gap of 3 to 4 months also. So that's why in all these situations, in order to put in everything together, put in the system all together, it may take some time. So that's why let us not be too harsh on our clients by saying that everything has to be done. Yes, we'll of course try to comply to the best extent possible. So that's why what we are doing is we are giving the line item wise 2B. जो भी line item wise 2B हम लोगों को मिला आज, वो हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, पहले मैचिंग करवा रहे हैं with the books. उसके बाद जो भी मैच नहीं कर रहे हैं, जो भी 2B में एक्सेस पड़ा हुआ है, so that we are sending to the client, that we already sent to the client and told them try to reconcile why these figures are lying in your 2B. इसका books में entry क्यों नहीं हुआ है? But if it is not possible to do it 100%, let's at least try to do as far as possible, because whatever errors are going to happen, maybe in the first 1 or 2 months, maybe they may be taken leniently. We are not sure, but we have seen that even tax for July 27, that is also being asked. Yes, I'm July 17. That is also being asked when many people have made the mistake. So interest, penalty, all this are being asked. So having said that, let us really educate all our clients. Let us really make them aware कि क्या करना पड़ेगा, क्यों करना पड़ेगा. But if they are not doing it 100%, let us not feel defeated. Let us try to improve on it. हर month हम लोग कोशिश करते हैं कि कोशिश मतलब system put on करने का, ताकि हम लोग 1-2 महीने के अंदर proper information दे सकें. Next is Rule 42. SSC is the manufacturer of crude, rice, bran, oil, right? All input supplies are taxable. Output of oil is taxable, and byproduct is DOB, right? DORB is exempt, and all input supplies are used for business purpose only. We have to deduct 5% of C2 as per formula while calculating eligible input compulsorily or not. When all inputs are used for business purpose, department persons are asking that deduct 5% of C2 because this is a formula. Even though all inputs are used for business purpose. See, इसमें क्या है कि why they are saying for C2, because it is difficult for you. Okay, it is difficult for you to calculate the difference, wherein some common credits are there, maybe the packaging items and some of the repair maintenance, machinery repair maintenance है, उसमें बहुत difficult हो जाता है. इसलिए they are asking us to go for this 5% of C2, and that's what we are doing it here. Why books of account is not based for self-assessment return filing? Yes, sir. Actually, this is books of accounts are only the basis for self-assessment return filing. But here, what we are doing is we are giving a reconciliation of the books of accounts. For example, if in my books of accounts the goods in transit have not been recorded, the GRN has not been raised, I don't avail the credit. I just show it in all other ITC and I show it in reversal. So what has increased is the reconciliation, whatever we have to do, but the basis is books of accounts. Next question is, for import of goods, if it's not appearing in 2B, but it's appearing in ICE gate, then we can avail the ITC basis ICE gate. In subsequent months, it's appearing in 2B, but I can't avail the ITC because I've already availed the ITC basis ICE gate. In this case, we have to avail the ITC and should report under 4B1 as permanent reversal because we are not going to avail the ITC in future. As it, yeah, see, Anmol, that is one of the challenges that is being faced. That because of what I was just sharing with Parimalji right now, that for working capital issues, I am sometimes availing the same on the basis of ICE gate figures. And later on, when it is reflected in my 2B, then what do I do? Okay, so later on, if I'm availing it in my all other ITC, there is a problem. So what I can do is, I can show it in imports, ITC on imports, and then I can show it in my permanent reversals. But here, when I show it in permanent reversal, I need to keep the reconciliation properly, because tomorrow one reconciliation item will come that as per ICE gate, your ITC available is this, but you have availed this much in imports. So where is the excess? That excess should match with your permanent reversals. Next question is, SSC received agricultural land lease income, not own cultivation. Is it taxable under? Yes, now though it's even the vacant agricultural land lease income is brought under taxability. So it is taxable as of now.
Can I say this, sir?
Yes, please. What is it?
Sir, what is the exactly meaning about actual receipt?
What is the exact meaning of?
Actual receipt of goods.
Okay, good question. So actual receipt of goods can be in 3 ways, wherein the title, right, or ownership in the property is transferred to me. So what can happen if it's an ex-factory transfer? If it's an ex-factory transfer, so say I'm taking steel rods. So I send my vehicle to the factory gate, and the company, my suppliers, they allow the vehicle to enter inside, they load it on the vehicle. So the moment they load it on the vehicle, I have received the goods. Why? Exactly. Because in that case, the possession and the right and the title that has been transferred. Okay. So that is received in goods. But again, if it's if it's a FOR, on my room, my factory. So then in that case, what will happen is that only when the goods are received by me in my factory, I have issued the GRN. I have, in certain cases, like in the case of spices, masala, this turmeric and all these things, we do a lot of quality control testing. And only if the quality control testing is done, it is matched, the moisture figures and the other figures, then only we receive the goods. Or else we return the entire goods. Some return kar dete hain. So in this case, what will happen is until and unless the QC is done, quality control is done, the reports are received, and the the GRN is issued. Till that moment, we cannot say that the goods are received.
So it depends all the transaction regarding purchase order basis.
Yes, it will be on the basis of purchase order. That's why let us be very particular with our clients that for our majority of clients to have everything written in the purchase order clearly. When you raise this question about purchase order, I will tell you another interesting case of purchase order wherein we are fighting a show cause notice. Usme kya tha, they had just told that you supply me this materials to me. That's it. Say cement. You supply me 100 bags of cement and the total cost per bag is say 100 rupees. Nothing else was mentioned. Now, when the actual transaction happens, the transportation is also paid by the supplier. And they have done it till my factory, my site premises, and they are saying that the 100 rupees also includes transportation. But wo agreement mein kahin pe likha nahi tha. So now department is alleging that आपने GTA का पेमेंट किया है, but आप उस पे RCM आपने नहीं किया है. नहीं तो goods आपको कैसे मिला? How did you get the goods? Because in your agreement, it is not mentioned that transportation is included. The supplier has not raised any bill for the transportation charges. आपने transportation charges दिया नहीं है, आपकी PL में booking नहीं है, तो material आया कहाँ से? So they are saying that either you have not got the material, it is a fake invoice जहाँ पे movement ही नहीं हुआ है, or if the movement has happened, then the freight was included in the invoice. वो आप बता नहीं सकते हो, तो that means we will consider that you have paid the freight in cash. और आपको RCM देना पड़ेगा. So we have gone with the lesser evil and we said ठीक है sir, that is okay. Freight आप पकड़ लोगे, cash में दिया और RCM payment कर.
Because there is a very difficult to chances, so we can justify that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's really difficult to justify. So with this, thank you very much for joining in today. So tomorrow I will take up with another 10-15 FAQs that I have, and which are all practical based. Because see, my basic purpose of having this discussion sessions is that we all the professionals, we go back to the industry and the trade and try to make them aware about the queries that they are facing, so that mistakes zero to nahi honge, but kam honge. That is the basic objective. Or kuch nahi. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. It was really a pleasure to have the deliberation. And if you have any questions, please put in the WhatsApp group, so that what I can do is I can actually update those questions and then maybe come out with the replies tomorrow. Thank you very much.